Hey team, this is Brian. Wanted to get a chance to come at you and talk a little bit about reverse field training. Reverse field training is where we ride along in a demo with newer team members and just get a chance to really help them close some sales and really get off to a great fast start, have an amazing best week ever, go big for a push, whatever the case may be. So a couple quick thoughts here at the beginning on how to sort of set things up. Then we're going to turn it over to Calvin Lopez. And Calvin, I think, is the best in the division, best in the MCdistrict, I think one of the best in the nation at creating sales leaders and 10K fast starters through reverse field training. Sam Cannon, we love talking about Sam too. He was a king with this. Riley Gothals was amazing. We've had a lot of people that have positively impacted reps and just changed the course of their entire career because they didn't just tell them what to do, they showed them. They did it with them. They led by example from the field. That was what was key. So a couple things you want to do first off. You want to make sure when you're promoting it to new reps that you really normalize this process. We always like to say, hey, something that we like to do for a lot of our upcoming reps is have a more experienced team member tag along with them for a demo or two. It's a lot of fun and it's super, super helpful. You don't need to call the customer and let them know. The reality is they're just going to sit back and be available for any questions that you or the customer have. So it's going to be a really big win for you and your clients. They'll build a little rapport at the beginning so that way it's not weird if they speak up a little bit later, but otherwise you just do your normal demo and they're just there that way if they see the opportunity to help close on a bigger sale or something like that, they can jump in and just help put it over the top for you. Understand they're not there to pick apart your demo, but two heads are better than one. I really know you're going to enjoy this. And honestly, if you ask really nicely, they might even bring some of their extra Cutco with them. So, that way you can maybe have like a cheese knife or some of the knives in the SIG or bring a big steak knife, just help you wrap up a bigger order. Now, in order to get them on your demo though, it has to be with one of your top 5 customers. So let's look at your schedule and your list together, figure out who we should try to target so we can get a good reverse field training set up for you. Okay. Now, once you've done this, you want to make sure once you've done this that you allow them space to do the normal demo. We're going to turn this over to Calvin again in a minute. He'll kind of go through the sort of direct stuff on here, but just keep in mind that at any point towards the back part of the demo, don't hesitate to completely take over, particularly for the close. What I always like to say when I'm riding along is actually, Mrs. Jones, since Kevin is still new, still in training, he didn't really know all about the friends and family special on that homemaker set. So let me show this to you guys first real quick, just so you know your options. I want to make sure you at least know what's available to you. The reality is you can close them on that sale, but don't forget to upserve on gadgets, on flatware, on gifts and accessories. Do you have any weddings coming up? Because again, you're just teaching the rep to do the right things in the future. Here's the deal. Don't worry about knowing exactly what to say. I know some of you on this that are listening to this video right now, it's assistant managers, it's key staff, it's leaders coming up in the organizations. And I understand some of you may only be at $10, $20, $30,000 in sales. And you may not always feel confident, like, wow, I don't always sell a SIG on my demo. How am I going to be so confident with them? Well, what I can tell you is given the experience and training you have, literally anything you say is better than what a new rep says. Literally anything. So be confident in your abilities. Be confident that you wouldn't even be watching this if your manager didn't feel like you had that potential, and you're going to do a great job for them. After the demo, try to spend a few minutes with the rep, always reviewing what they did really well, and use their enthusiasm from that experience to book more demos for today and tomorrow. We don't get the opportunity to have people stick around and learn all the great stuff they can about themselves and business and professionalism and how to be a more confident and better person. If people aren't having a reasonable amount of success and they're not making money, we don't earn the right to keep people around. Okay, so you should always prioritize helping your reps book demos, make sales, make money, and then in the byproduct of that, in the process of doing all that, you'll be able to teach them, build relationships, and do all that stuff. Build their confidence in the programs, build their confidence in the products, build their confidence in the fundamentals. Always reinforce the basics with them. Follow your manual, cut some food, do more demos, and never forget Cutco rocks. Enthusiasm is the key to persuasion without pressure. Show them what an enthusiastic, confident, professional demo looks like. You'll knock their socks off. So to really dive in, let's turn this over to Calvin Lopez. Calvin, I've kind of got a few questions for you as far as like the basic structure, but we definitely can just sort of let you drive the train here. For me though, I'm kind of curious about what are you doing before the demo to kind of set things up. Again, we're largely talking to assistant managers here or top reps who are going with newer people. So, what are you kind of doing before the demo to set things up? During the early parts of the demo, how involved are you in sort of building rapport in the intro stuff so it's not weird when you kind of jump in later? how do you really handle transitioning into the close and sort of taking over that process, and then after the demo, the conversation. So kind of before, what's the demo life like, what's after, but I think everyone's most curious about how are you closing these big orders for people on the team. So let's go and turn it over to you.
Okay, so I guess one of the first things that I always do, the conversation I have with the rep, is building them up. I let them know that I'm just there to help. I'm not there to do their presentation. I'm not there to take away from anything that they already have going on. All I'm there is for support. I let them know they're still doing the full presentation. The only times I'm going to be talking are whenever they're building a report. If they miss anything that's super important, I might throw it in. And then that if they need help at the end, I'll step in. But I want the individual to feel empowered about the experience that they're going into, and that again, I'm supporting them in everything they're doing. So once I actually do show up with the customer and I'm actually in the presentation, while they're building rapport, I will engage. I will help build rapport with the rep. I'll ask questions. I'll make sure that they know, the customer knows, again, I'm just a manager here helping my rep be successful. I'm not here to take away from anything. That they're getting full credit. They're working really hard and they've really impressed us. And that's why I decided to tag along, because I want to see them continue to have that kind of success. And this is just kind of the next part of their training. So it's never weird that I'm there. I never tell the customer beforehand that I'm coming. It's always just, hey, I'm here. Hi, congratulations. But like when I say I build rapport with them, I always obviously let them start. I always ask, because generally if it's somebody they already know, I always also, how long have y'all known each other? Or, oh, you're an aunt. Oh, what was this one like as a youngster? You know, just kind of like something that'll kind of ease the mood and really kind of go through everything. So that way it's just, when I do step in later, if I do, it's never weird. They're already comfortable with me and who I am. And they know that I'm there 100% supporting the individual that I'm working with. And that my whole focus is to make sure that they're going to be successful long-term with us. So they're always excited that I'm taking time out of my day. And I kind of make it a big deal that I'm there to be helpful because of how impressed we are with the representative. So it's a nice just kind of building thing. So that way, whenever it does come into play later, it's never a surprise that we're going for a big thing, because there's always a big goal we're shooting for. And we talk about the goals. We express like how hard they've been working and what they've done so far and what they're trying to achieve and why it's important to them. And obviously I let them help explain that too. I'm not going to explain it for them, but I'm definitely going to piggyback on the things they're saying, just so that way it does kind of build that buying atmosphere very early. So we're starting it off right there in the beginning of the presentation to let them know, hey, you don't have to buy anything, but we're going to show you everything. And obviously they're going to get a great deal because their friends and family or their recommendation. Doesn't matter. They're going to get a great deal. After that, the rep does the presentation. Like they're following the manual 100%. I'm sitting in the back. I do like to take notes just to kind of, this is for the back end of the demo, because I do want to give the rep some feedback. So I do kind of make sure, obviously, like my job there is to field train. So if they are skipping over anything important, or if they're not highlighting the right knife the right way, like if they're talking about the trimmer and they're not mentioning like how great it is on tomatoes, or if they're talking about certain pieces and they don't really know everything to bring up more, I'll definitely kind of throw in some extra names and uses or some extra fun facts here and there. Again, just to kind of be present, but I never overstep in the demonstration, because I want the rep to do the demonstration. I want them to feel good about like what's going to happen after the fact. And then when it comes to the close, again, I'm the more experienced rep. We all know that whenever we're in the situation, because we're generally field training newer reps. So I understand the fact that they may not see the opportunities that are going to happen the way I could see them. So I'm reading the customer. I'm paying attention to how things are going. I'm looking at the way they're reacting to each knife and to each set and to each picture, because that's what's really telling me what they are the most interested in. And I can pay more attention to them because the rep's doing the presentation, not me. So I get to really look for those little signals. Like if I see them light up when we do the fold out for the ultimate or the signature, I kind of make a note of that, like a mental note, just to say like, oh, they like that bigger set. You know, they're more interested in the bigger steak knives, or they really love the hearty slicer and the cheese knives. Like those really pique their interest. So that way, like I'm going to use that later on. So that way, if they ask, oh yeah, we really like the homemaker, be like, but they're unsure. Is it really you don't like the homemaker because it doesn't have your favorite pieces in it? So I know we need to look at bigger options. So like I'm using that early on, and I'm paying more attention to that, so that way I can be prepared to ask these kind of questions at the end of the demo whenever the close does happen. Again, the rep's going to do page 8 and 9. For us, we do have it in the manual to ask if they are more interested in one of the larger sets, or where they wanted to look at just the homemaker. So like that's kind of where I might step in if they say, oh, I mean, we kind of like that small one. If they seem kind of unsure about it, because like to me, the homemaker is the small set, then I'm going to say, oh my gosh, oh, did you like one of the bigger ones more? I'm going to be very nonchalant about it, but I'm definitely going to bring it up. To be like, well, actually, yeah, we did like that middle size one really kind of seems more our style or something like that. Like I'm kind of seeing those reactions. I'm going to ask those just helpful little questions. And then whenever we actually start asking those closing questions, like, oh my gosh, I still want the rep to ask a couple things, but this is where I would actually start to kind of take over a little bit more just to help them maximize the opportunity. So if they're like, we do like the bigger sets, some of our newer guys sometimes don't always know how to handle that type of thing. They don't know how to really explain the benefits of getting a family set or a complete set. They don't know like the extra little lines. The great thing about our complete set is it's actually the only set that comes with the full set of 12 steak knives that everybody really wants in their kitchen. So that's why a lot of people like it. It's not that it's a big set. It's just for the people that entertain a lot. So do y'all ever actually host a lot of family dinners at the house, like asking those extra kind of questions? And they're like, oh, well, we host, but 12 is probably more than we need. 10 seems to be that magic number. And it's like, oh, okay, so more of a family set. You don't really need that big cleaver then. Making the customer feel good about not wanting the bigger set, but wanting the medium sized set. And if they're like, oh, well, I'm unsure, like my husband, he's not here and, I need his help, really kind of letting them know, hey, that's no big deal. That's why most of our customers do it on an easy pay option. You're only putting 20% down today. So that way you and your husband can actually try it out together. Because let's be honest, is he going to say yes if you're like, I want to buy these $1,000 knife sets? Probably not. But if he gets to use them and see them and really get to experience them the way you did, will that kind of help actually influence his decision to make an educated decision versus just he heard a price tag and then decided he didn't want it? So like just letting them know like it's okay for them to I can give that extra little push and it's not weird because that's my job and they know that's what I'm here to help for. And I can also stress like, hey, the really great thing about you getting this set today, because I assume they're always going to buy it, is you're really helping so-and-so hit their goal. They're actually like super close. So this is actually going to put them right where they need to be kind of be on pace to hit that scholarship they're working towards or to kind of finish their fast start strong. And that's the great thing. Them actually doing this right now, they're going to finish in like the top percentile of our company. It's something super rare that not a lot of people can say. So it's a really great resume builder. Like I'm going to stress different points that the rep may not have stressed as much. So that can be super important and motivating. Now, I'm never going to guilt anybody into buying Cutco because everybody loves Cutco and they should own it. I'm just going to help them get what they really like. I'm not going to push stuff on them that they don't need. But if it fits in their budget and it aligns with what they really want, they're just kind of not willing to say it out loud. I'm going to help kind of direct them that way. Afterwards, before the demo's done, one of the big things while they start to write up the order, another thing is I'm going to help with them upselling. Because a lot of times the newer reps, we have to show them that even though they've gotten that signature and they've gotten that set and they're excited about it, part of the manual is actually keeping going and showing them all of our gifts and accessories and our flatware and our cookware and all these other things that they may not have mentioned yet, and ask them, like, do you have any weddings or birthdays or holidays coming up? Have you seen our cookware and flatware? By the way, do y'all have any good cookware or flatware? Is this anything you've been thinking about? Like, I'm going to bring up those types of questions because that's going to help them engage. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, we hate our cookware. Like I was doing a field training with one of my reps, Tyler Davis, years back, and I remember the customer, they were really excited about getting a new set of Cutco or getting a bigger set of Cutcos. They owned a smaller set. They ended up upgrading to the signature set. Again, I threw that question out and the husband just was like, oh my God, I hate my cookware. Do y'all sell good cookware? And it was like, oh man, yeah, absolutely. Show me what you have. When literally pulling pans out of his cabinets and was like, I hate these things. These are the worst things ever. You see these stains and like, they just suck. And we've been needing new cookware. And all of a sudden it went from this nice, really great upgrade to a signature set with cookware, a nice little combo package deal that they were very excited about. But again, Tyler was busy writing up the order. He was taking care of all that stuff like he's supposed to. And I was just continually doing the job that we do. It's like, hey, by the way, just so you know, we do have these other things. And we kind of flipped through the book and all of a sudden they were very excited about adding a dedicated chef. You never know a customer, since I'm the rep and I'm here to help and I want to make sure my reps get the best opportunity, I'm going to try to do the best I can to help them get the biggest sale possible. And it's understanding that these customers we're seeing, we have more experience because we know people love to buy Cutco. So sometimes the newer reps are afraid to ask for those bigger orders. So I want to kind of help show them that these bigger orders happen and it's a very normal thing. And being able to do that on a demo with a rep, and it's not going to happen every time, but when you can show them that it does happen and they see that these are the types of people that they're seeing and these are the things that they normally buy, it does help them do better in the long term. So it's showing them, hey, my customers buy lots of Cutco and it's okay for them to do that. So their next customers, because they're obviously the same type of people, they can make those same kind of orders. So that's always a really big thing too. Like even after we think the demo's over, it's not over. I do always like to help them get recommendations also. That's one of the big things we never forget. So when the rep, if they kind of butcher the approach, I will step in and say, oh my gosh, hey guys, like, don't worry, it's not a big deal. This isn't something they turn into the office or anything. It's just for them to kind of help them keep going and help them towards their goals. So yeah, if you just jot down 10 to 20 people for them, that'd be really great. We're going to take some time to clean up. You know, I'll very, very calmly and very nonchalantly bring up like, hey, you're going to do this, so go ahead and do it. Because again, my job is to continue to help the rep grow. That's going to help them grow. Now, the other big thing is one of the most important things for field training for me, besides obviously being there and being helpful, is the after demo conversation. This is one of my favorite things, because this is where we really get to teach the rep what they did and didn't do right. Now, I'm never trying to tear them down and break them down or anything like that. I do want them to know what they did great and what they didn't do great, and where they can have areas of improvement, and how it's really going to help them maximize their business to take it to the next level. And when you have that conversation the right way, like basically it's, hey, look, you did this and this really great. These are a couple things you really need to work on. And then here's one more thing you did really awesome. So honestly, if you work on these two things right here, though, like if you work on building rapport better and you work on being a little bit more confident with the close, you're going to crush it, and you have a chance to be an All-American this summer. And I know that's what you're really gunning for. So let's make it happen. Do you think you can work on these? Do you want to come to a PC that we can set up with Brian, or we can set it up with John or with myself or whatever, and we can kind of work on those two things for you? We can really drill for skill and help you take it to the next level. Would you be excited about that? And 90% of the time, the reps are like, oh, that's awesome. And be like, hey, remember, you crushed this part, this part, and this part. The enthusiasm you brought to the demonstration was amazing. And I'm really excited to see that. Like you're taking it seriously and you're doing almost everything perfectly. But these one or two little things that if you work on them, like, again, you're going to be selling package deals on almost every other appointment from here forward. So let's go ahead and set up a time like tomorrow or the day after so we can work on those. But really, like, the next thing you need to do is get some phone time so you can have some more appointments. And then kind of.
And then so you're parlaying that into, it's not just about the sales, it's about you're getting more recommendations with them. You're using as a chance to instruct them. You're helping create immediate activity by getting them to generate more demos while they're really on that high and in that good mental state. And I think one of the biggest things I love there is where you talk about one of the real keys for CSPs and FSMs is that we just know people love to buy Cutco. And so there's a lot of things we do that are just very reassuring to customers, that new reps sometimes do a great job presenting information. They get like right up to the edge where they can close those homemakers or bigger orders, but they just don't know how to say, hey, you guys are going to love this. Let's just try the 20% down so you guys can enjoy it together for a while. But it's just bringing this very calming, confident, reassuring energy to the process. I think that's one of the biggest keys that I hear you talking about, that some of our newer managers reverse field training, maybe they're not as high in sales. That's okay. You don't have to be. Calvin was great at this when he was at $17,000 in sales, because he always had that confidence in the product and the opportunity, and he knew customers were better with Cutco than without Cutco. That's incredible, Calvin. I have one kind of other sort of big question that I hear a lot. You know, sometimes we have a situation where a rep did a solid demo. They're just following their manual. Maybe they didn't really introduce the SIG and the Ultimate and as thoroughly as they could, but they saw the customer on the homemaker set. What do you do when you have a situation where the customer says yes to the homemaker? How do you kind of transition that to at least introduce the SIG and the Ult if the rep maybe didn't do as good a job setting the stage for that? Is there anything you feel you can do with the right type of customer to help get them back up? Or maybe they didn't talk enough about steak knives. How do you help get that back up in the backside to talk about maybe they did sell a steak? They need to stick with steak knives. So how in the close can you introduce one or two of those options that the customer probably would say yes to if they were just showing them as a confident option?
Well, so I always, again, want the rep to feel good about the experience and the customer. That's always a big thing. Everybody wants to feel good about what they're doing and what they're excited about. So like if it's a homemaker, but I know it should be a bigger set, I always laugh very nonchalantly. Like, hey, that's awesome. We're going to love it. We're going to high five it, and they're going to be excited about it. And they're going to start filling out the order form. And I'm going to say, you know, what's really great about the homemaker is this is the set that most people start with. This is like their most sold one. It's their most popular. So you really made a great choice. And the really cool thing is next year or the year after, we do have these two larger options that you can always upgrade to later. And they're going to be like, oh, really? And I'll be like, yeah. So the really cool thing about the reason people upgrade is just because they actually have our customer recommended pieces in them. We had a lot of people writing in the Cutco requesting certain pieces that make a lot of sense in the kitchen that are additive to the set that you're buying right now. So I'm just going to show you. Do you mind if I show you some of the stuff that you can always get in the future? And my goal, honestly, is to get them excited about the stuff that they're missing out on. And then what I'm going for is having them ask that question: is it a lot to upgrade, or am I saving any money? I was like, well, honestly, you'll save the most money by just getting the bigger set if that's what you really like. And plus, the cool thing is, since you're actually so close with so and so, if you did decide you wanted to go with one of the larger options, we can cut you a crazy cool deal because of the specials we have going on right now. And since I'm one of the managers with them, I'm actually authorized to make sure you get the better deal. So would you care to see what the pricing is on those? And just, again, I want to entertain I want to let them know right then and there. Like, because again, the complete set's what most people who buy Cutco end up with anyway. And it's just like, I want to show off that cheese knife. I want to show off the hearty slicer. I want to show off the mini chopper. I want to show off the boning knife and the salmon knife. And that's the goal, is to get those customers excited about those extra things that they're missing out on. And that's kind of the experience I'm bringing to the table is, hey, you are missing out on some of the best, most recommended pieces by our Cutco owners. So I just want to make sure you know what you can always add later. But I'm trying to turn that into, we can just add it right now and save you a bunch of money.
I love it. So you're really just kind of getting their focus on that, seeing if it catches their attention, kind of creating just a positive energy and almost presenting it as like a hypothetical, like, hey, just lay out your options. In the future, you may want this. While I'm here anyway, why don't I just show this to you? And it's this very light sort of fun thing. But by doing that, you can grab their attention, you can get their interest. And then it's way easier to be like, hey, I mean, do you guys want to know? Just for fun. And then you segue those lines about how, since you're the manager, you've got it approved. You can offer the bigger discount. We can hook them with a better deal. And this is what most people end up with if you think you're going to do it anyway. I mean, it just kind of makes sense. I mean, do you at least want to see the discount we can do for you just for fun? And I've heard you use those sorts of lines 100 times in the booth and with customers. So as you're saying this, it's all coming to me right now. Well, Calvin, I just know reverse field training for me is one of the areas that in the MCdistrict, we've created more 10K fast starters because of our reverse field training program than almost anything else. And the guys that do this, they're just the warriors in the field. Like, our reps look to them like, I'm the general, I'm the coach, you are too, 9 times out of 10. The guys are actually on the demo with them. Man, that's like that freaking samurai warrior in the field. And like the way the reps look at you, because they know how much of their success and their paycheck is thanks to the work that you did. It's one of the most underappreciated things in the office and most offices, but not in Texoma, not in MCdistrict. We know what a difference it makes.
Well, it's also knowing basically like the way they look back on it, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month or months down the line, or during SC2, they know these things and they had the success because of what you did for them. And you got to remember, as the field trainer, you are impacting these guys in a very personal way that just it's second to none almost for the ways that they appreciate what you've done for them. Like, you're not doing something just for an immediate thing. It's a long-term effect that they're very grateful for.
I love it. I love it. And, the last thing I'll note on this, and I've just seen this because I've seen it with Calvin so much, because he is investing so much in them. This isn't just talk. He's literally in the trenches with them. He has credibility with reps. He can leverage that in a positive way later. If people are in a downward state, or people are negative, or people are entitled, he can check almost anything by saying, hey, have I ever steered you wrong? Have I ever steered you wrong? Did I steer you wrong in your fast start? Did I steer you wrong in that demo where we sold 2 SIGs? Absolutely not. I'm not going to steer you wrong now. So I need you to get your head out of your butt and listen to me. And I've heard him have that conversation so many times because he's earned the right. And by doing this with people, you earn the right to have a whole different level of influence over their time with us. Awesome, man. Well, hey, this has been incredible. Any last tips or thoughts that you have? Otherwise, we'll wrap up.
Do more field trainings. I'll tell you what, whoever gets the most done over a certain period of time that I'll talk with you about, I'll take them. I'll go on one of their demos just to give them the best tips.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love that. Well, we're down for some Texoma contest. All right, guys. Well, hey, that's it for reverse field training for now. Just remember, it's positive, it's easy, and make it a regular part of your office culture. And that's how you're going to create those sales leaders and rabbits. And that raises the level for every other person. So thank you so much, Calvin.
Absolutely.